If you're watching this video right now, odds are good that you need to drain your 8 sleep. I was where you are not very long ago, and when I went to do it myself and I was looking online for tutorials and a video walkthrough, I found a lot of tutorials that had just a voiceover with a bunch of random video clips that had nothing to do with an 8 sleep, which was not helpful. So I figured, you know what? If I'm going to drain my 8 sleep, I'm going to document the process and create a proper walkthrough tutorial. And that's what this is. So I'll take you through everything from draining the hub to the cover as well. And just sort of, give you a step-by-step walkthrough with an actual 8 sleep, so that way you know what you're doing, or you can even follow along as you're doing it. There are a lot of different reasons why you might need to drain your 8 sleep. You might be moving or replacing your mattress or even your bed frame. You might be dealing with a system upgrade, replacing the hub and switching to a newer model. You might just be performing some routine maintenance where you drain the water and put in fresh. Whatever the reason, it's really not all that complicated. It can be a little bit of a lengthy process, especially when you get to the point where you're draining the cover, but it can be done. And just for the record, I did it all myself. I didn't need a second set of hands. I thought I was going to when I did the cover, just because, it's kind of big and, it's a little unwieldy when you're working with it yourself. But I'll take you through my process from start to finish, and hopefully by the end of this video, you have a better sense of what you're doing, and hopefully this provides the tutorial that I needed when I did this myself. I'm going to take you through the process of draining an 8 sleep pod. Now, I have my hub set up on my nightstand right now because it'll be a little bit easier to do that off the ground, but I have unplugged it. So that's going to be step 1. Definitely unplug it before you do any of this, because obviously water and electricity don't mix. Or rather, they really do mix, because one conducts the other. So yeah, just unplug your pod before you start any of this. Some of the things that you'll need for this, obviously, you're gonna need a bowl to empty your water into, a towel, which I'm gonna put on the floor just to kind of protect it because I have wood floors, the tool that came with the pod. Now you'll notice this has 2 different ends. One plugs in and one plugs over. So we're going to be using this tool to drain both the hub and the cover. This is the back of the pod. So I've unplugged the power cord already, but to drain the hub, we're going to unplug the water tubing, but also the USB. So both of those will get removed. On either side of the water cable, there's a button, and you'll press the button on both sides. There's one here, let me take you around, and there's one here. So you'll put your fingers on both sides, push in, and pull out. Now, a little tiny bit of water was dripping out. That's okay, because we've got our towel on the floor. And now we're going to use the tool to actually drain the water that's in here. Now that we've got everything unplugged from the back of the pod hub, you can see there's nothing here. It's time to drain. Now, that's where this draining tool is going to come into play. This is 2-sided, and so you use one side for the water tubing, the other side is for the hub. So as you can see, these little nubbies are sticking out. This is going to fit over. The bigger side slides over. And this is universal, so it doesn't matter which way you put it on there, it'll work. Now, as we get started here, I've got my bowl on a little stand, just kind of right underneath here to catch the water. And of course, I have a towel on the floor. Both of those are super important, because once this thing gets plugged on, water is going to start coming out. So we're gonna slide this over the end and then basically just push it in. And it is a slow process. This isn't gonna like shoot out like crazy, but once it stops going automatically, you'll wanna tip the hub. So I'm gonna push this in and tip. And you can tip it farther depending on how much is coming out. All right. Okay, and that's all there is to draining the hub. I'm gonna pull this off. That's the amount of water that came out of the hub. So, I don't know, looks like a couple of cups, I think. Yeah, not a ton. The last bit to draining is dealing with the reservoir, which you're gonna wanna pull that out of the hub and take the lid off and just dump it in the sink or wherever, because the tool doesn't empty this. You have to do it separately. It only drains what was in the actual hub, like in the mechanics. So don't forget to empty this too. And now we're ready to start draining the water hose. Now, because this plugs in to this, it is gonna snap into place. So before you push it in, make sure you've got your bowl handy so you're ready to catch the water as it comes out. So we're gonna snap this in. And you might need to lift the water cable upright. So to drain the rest of the water out of the pod cover, which it was the first time I've ever done this, so kind of a learning experience, I discovered that if I flipped the pod cover around so that the water hose was kind of on the side over here, I could use gravity to sort of bring the water down. So I held the pod cover up on this side and sort of like let gravity draw some of the water down. And then I came back over and was working with the tool some more. And so it's mostly empty. It's feeling a lot lighter than it was. It feels a lot more like it did when I first got it. So I know I'm getting close. And right now, this is where my water level is at. From draining the cover along with the hub. So I'm gonna do one more pass, but it seemed like gravity worked a lot better, even doing this myself, by having the end of the pod cover over here, holding it up and letting some of the water draw down, and then, you know, emptying it into the bowl. So yeah, the hub is definitely a lot easier to drain compared to the cover for obvious reasons, but yeah, so far so good, and I think I'm just about done. Yeah, I was right. There was only the tiniest little trickle left coming out, so yeah, this is fully drained and definitely feels a lot more like it did when it was new, weight-wise. So yeah, I think we're all set here. When you get your 8 sleep though, definitely keep this tool because you are gonna need it at some point for draining, like if you're moving or, you know, switching beds or, you know, just whatever you're doing that you need to drain it. This tool is really, really important for that. So definitely put it away in a safe place so you know where it's always at in case you need it. So yeah, that was the process from start to finish. It's not really all that complicated. As long as you have all of the things that you need ahead of time, your bowl, your towel, the tool that comes with it, and enough space to work, it really isn't that difficult. The hub especially is really easy to drain compared to the cover, you know, especially, you know, when you're dealing with like a queen or a king size cover, it's, you know, it's a little tricky to get, all of the water to come down toward where the hose is, but hopefully the walkthrough helps. I know that part of that was trial and error when I was doing it the first time. I kind of was shifting things around and trying to figure out the best way to get gravity to be on my side. And that seemed to be the best solution for that. When you go to do it yourself, maybe you'll find some other methods that work even better. But that was my first time doing it. I think I did it pretty well. It took a bit longer than what you saw in the edited clips, just because I was kind of figuring it out as I went along, and hopefully this tutorial makes it so it goes a lot faster for you.